So do y'all remember the QAnon Shaman? Do you remember the guy, Jacob Chansley, that went to the Capitol with the big bull horns on his head and the American flag and the fur clothes and walked around thumping his chest and hooting and hollering? In my mind, he has always been the face of MAGA. When you say MAGA, that guy's face is who I picture. Because I do believe that MAGA is one of the most over-the-top, insane brands of politics that we have ever seen. And I believe that he is the absolute perfect representation for them. I truly do. I don't think there's such a thing as anyone that's reasonable MAGA. I don't think that. I think there's reasonable people who voted Republican just because Papa always did, and they voted the way that their family always voted, and they really weren't paying attention to politics. But those who are paying attention and just absolutely immersed in Donald Trump and love everything about him, whenever I see those people thumping their chest, I just automatically see this dude. But now, here he is, and he is suing Donald Trump, and he says that he is the rightful president. And no, folks, I'm not making this up. I don't know if this is one of the funniest stories I've ever read, one of the saddest, or one of the scariest, but you can be the judge. And thank y'all so much for supporting what it is that I do here on the channel as we read this article here from The Independent. The QAnon Shaman sues Trump for $40 trillion and targets Musk, T-Mobile, and Warner Brothers in a rambling lawsuit. This is real life. This is absolutely real life. So the QAnon Shaman has sued Donald Trump for $40 trillion in a rambling lawsuit that targets Elon Musk, T-Mobile, and Warner Brothers. Jacob Chansley, infamous for wearing a horned warrior outfit while storming the Capitol on January 6th, has claimed that he is the rightful commander-in-chief. In his 26-page complaint, he has claimed that an elite group has launched a conspiracy to violate the Constitution. The entire complaint, which is more akin to a manifesto than a formal legal document, is presented in a single paragraph. He has named Trump the Federal Reserve, the National Security Agency, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the State of Israel, Elon Musk's X Corporation, T-Mobile, and Warner Brothers in court documents. And in the lengthy complaint, Chansley states that he is the true American president and that America should only have two laws, the Bill of Rights and the original Constitution. The QAnon Shaman would also print a 1-ounce gold coin valued at $40 trillion to pay off the country's debts. Bizarrely, one section of the lawsuit suggests the plots for Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight and James Cameron's Avatar were plagiarized from his own writing. This is MAGA. It really is. Also, Chansley has alleged that the National Security Agency catfished him as Michelle Rodriguez to persuade him to use his shamanic abilities to deal with other worldly matters. He also claims that Donald Trump personally emailed him just 2 days after the Capitol riots in 2021. Trump has recently blamed the FBI for inciting the Capitol riot, claiming that there were 274 federal agents in the crowd on January 6th. However, the Department of Justice confirmed that the agents sent to the Capitol had been ordered to investigate reports of pipe bombs and to prevent Trump's loyalists from interrupting the peaceful transfer of power to the then President-elect Joe Biden. But here was this moron, and like I said, whenever you say I'm MAGA, that's the first face that goes through my head. In 2020, Biden won 306 electoral votes alongside his running mate Kamala Harris. Meanwhile, Trump won just 232 electoral votes, as well as 7 million fewer votes than his rival. Following the election, Trump claimed that he would never concede the races to his opponents. "Get smart, Republicans, fight," he tweeted on the morning of the riots. During his speech on the same day, his supporters could be heard shouting, "Invade the Capitol, fight for Trump, and take the Capitol." The QAnon Shaman, Jacob Chansley, was convicted for obstructing an official proceeding because of his role in the riots. He was later pardoned by Trump, along with 1,500 other individuals in January 2025 for his crime. Chansley takes his nickname from QAnon, the far-right conspiracy movement that claims that Donald Trump is leading a fight against a secret sex trafficking ring led by a global elite cabal. However, Chansley rescinded his support for Trump because the president has refused to release the Epstein files. The Independent has contacted the White House, the Federal Reserve, the National Security Agency, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the Israeli government, Elon Musk's X Corporation, and T-Mobile and Warner Brothers for comment. But folks, I believe what we're going to witness. I really do. I believe we're going to see MAGA just completely out conspiracy theory themselves until they just do right out of existence. I'm not going to sit here like James Carville and say to you that we just have to lay back now and just let them, and not do anything. And just, I'm not going to say that. But this is clearly a point of they're going to destroy each other. There's no way out for them because none of them has a voice of reason. And in my mind, Trump is really no better than Jacob Chansley. I look at those two people as one and the same. And I'm not rooting for either one of them. I don't have a dog in this fight. I just hope that that more people like that continues to come out and break with Donald Trump. It's an absurd lawsuit. It's not going to go anywhere. This guy's not going to suddenly magically become the president of the United States and get $40 trillion. None of those things are actually going to happen. But I think what it's going to show us is that more and more people are breaking from Trump over these Epstein files. More and more people are starting to see through just what a con artist that he truly was. And it's funny because everything that Jacob Chansley, the QAnon shaman, everything that dude thought he was going to bat for, you got to think about it this way. Everything he thought he was going to bat for and going to bat to protect is now everything that Donald Trump is doing, which is pretty much the exact, that would go for everybody on January 6th. They really thought in their minds they were there for a noble reason. They thought that they were trying to take back something that had been stolen from them. They were all duped. They were all conned. They were all tricked into that one. But now everything that they fought for and everything they went to jail for, they might have received pardons, but everything they went to jail for and everything they ever believed, he's going against it. We're seeing free speech trampled on like never before. How long can people like that defend that? How long can people in MAGA defend Netanyahu wanting to own TikTok to where he controls, or for Americans to own TikTok and then him to control the narrative? How long will MAGA stand for the troops in the street? They always said that was a states' rights issue. So everything that they ever accused the Democrats of doing, and they elected Trump to stop the Democrats from doing, now Trump is doing it. And even the most batshit Looney Tune one of them all is like, hey, wait a minute. That ain't what I voted for. That ain't what I painted up my face and went to the Capitol and acted like a jackass for. Even that idiot sees through it. I mean, he's still an idiot for coming up with a lawsuit like that. The whole thing's laughable. But we can literally, as we stay focused on what needs to be done, they will fall down into their own rabbit holes of conspiracy theories, and I do believe that when it's all said and done, it will be them that destroys themselves. Because once they see that everything they went to bat for is now happening right in front of their face, and I've always said this, Donald Trump don't care about that dude. I guarantee you don't even know his name. I would almost be willing to bet that if you said the or the QAnon shaman, he would stumble over himself. And if you said what was his name, or if you said who was Jacob Chansley, he'd probably go, who? Huh? I'm not aware. It's the first time hearing of it. He doesn't care. He never cared about that dude. He just used him as a political pawn. And it's funny watching all these MAGAs break with Trump over these things, but they're getting what they voted for. They tried to paint us as the enemy from within. They tried to paint us as the ones that was coming after them. No, we weren't coming after them at no point. Donald Trump used them and manipulated them into working and doing things against their own interest and going to jail for him. That's what happened. Those people got played, and I do believe that more and more of them is waking up to it. And we're going to see more of it. I really do believe we are. I'm seeing more and more conservative influencers start to say, hey, we can't go along with this. They still really don't want to warm up to us, and I really don't want to warm up to them either, to tell you the truth. But I do want to see more reasonable people come together. And as the absolute worst of MAGA destroys themselves, the rest of us are going to be here picking up the pieces. I'll never give Jacob Chansley a pass. I'll never say he was, no, the dude was a Looney Tune that did that. He's still that way. But, I hope more people comes out and starts throwing lawsuits at Trump's like that. It'll be entertaining to watch, even though they'll never go anywhere. That lawsuit's going nowhere. But what it says is that even the craziest within MAGA is beginning to wake up to Donald Trump.